Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be demonstrating how to create this 2-tier unicorn / reindeer Christmas cake. I've got a 12-inch cake board and I've stuck on an 8-inch cake with a little bit of chocolate buttercream. Filling in with the buttercream, to make this I combined my hybrid shortening with some dark chocolate ganache. I'll have the recipe for those or the link to the recipes in the description box below. Stack all of your cake layers. I've used 2 cakes in total that I cut in half. And then create the crumb coat. This is a thin layer of frosting that goes around the whole cake. Smooth it down with your bench scraper. Clean up your cake board because it is the darker frosting. It's just easy to do it now. And then bring that lip of frosting at the top of the cake to the center to clear that off. Into the fridge she goes for at least 20 minutes. And then we'll create our final layer of frosting. Again, this is just hybrid buttercream that I've combined with ganache. And the ganache went in pretty warm, which is why it's so smooth and silky. So heat works to our advantage with this particular frosting. Cover the whole cake in a medium thin layer and then go over with your bench scraper until it's nice and smooth. And bringing that lip of frosting again into the center. I've used my acrylic scraper to smooth out the top. I find that it creates a much more neater and sharper edge. Let it rest in the fridge and then create your top tier. This is a 6-inch cake. It is sitting on a 6-inch cake board and stuck to an acrylic disc. Following the same steps, stacking it, crumb coating it, and then popping it into the fridge, and then creating the crumb coat then creating the final coat once the crumb coat is firm. Pop her into the freezer instead for at least 15 minutes. In the meantime, pop some dowels that have been cut flush with the top of your cake into the 8-inch. And then once the 6-inch is nice and firm, release it from the acrylic disc. Place it onto the center of your cake with a spatula, make sure it's centered, and then pull out your spatula gently. I've stuck it on with a little bit of ganache. Now to create the main, I've got some red buttercream, green buttercream, and yellow buttercream, and I've colored it with Chef Master Gel food colors. I've used a 1M tip, a 6B tip, and a 21 tip by Loyal. Create the main. I had signed some lines on the top of the cake and tried to work within them, but I suck at working within lines, so ended up covering the whole top of the cake. And then I traveled diagonally down so that the main could be seen from the front of the cake. So important, do travel down diagonally so you can really make the full use of your main in the design. Fill in with rosettes, little dollops, and try to keep it nice and sharp and linear along the edges. I'm creating some little gift boxes with blue, yellow, and green fondant, and I've cut out these boxes with a square cutter. There are 3 different sizes that I used, and I'm cutting out mostly larger sizes because they're going to need to fill up the back, or I guess the line of the cake, you'll see soon. They don't have to be square, you can make gift boxes to be rectangular and square and a mixture of different shapes. I just stuck to the one shape. Apply a little bit of water with a brush behind the boxes and then line them up at the back of the cake. I've used my 2 larger sizes to line the back, and then the shorter one or the smaller one I put at the front, just in between the previous 2, and this gives a little bit more dimension, a little bit more 3D-ish kind of shape to the border. With a little bit of water, apply your ribbon. These are just strips of red fondant that I used, cut down with a ruler. Trim them at the very top of the box, and then cut out some bows. This is a plunger cutter. Press down firmly to engrave the little bow pattern on the fondant. And then apply it on the cake with some water, but make sure to only press down in the center, and that way the sides of the bows kind of come off the cake and look a little bit more 3D-ish. To make the reindeer ears, I've used a Russian piping tip to cut out the circles out of brown fondant. And then I massaged the very top to point them slightly. Cut out some yellow fondant and do the exact same thing, and then apply the 2 with some water onto the brown backing. There will be a little bit of fondant extra over the edge, just turn that around and trim that off. Where the two pieces meet, give them a bit of a pinch so it looks a little bit more realistic and ear shaped. I did the same for the very top. And then I inserted toothpicks at each base. Let that set for at least a good hour and then pop it into your cake. I've used the scissors to help me guide the stick all the way through, otherwise if you use your hand you might risk damaging the main. Then I've taken 2 yellow pieces of fondant, rolled them into logs, made one end much skinnier, and then about 1 centimeter in I've cut 2 incisions diagonally and then I'm flaring those out to create the eyelashes for the eyes. Shape them and then let them sit on your counter for at least a good 20 minutes so they don't misshape when you're trying to apply them onto your cake. Stick those on with a little bit of water. This is edible, I guess, shimmer spray by Chef Master. First time I've used it, I was really excited to use it, and I've just gone all over the cake. Circular motions, working pretty far from the cake to get even coverage, and making sure my turntable is constantly turning to get the smoothest and most even coverage. Let that dry for at least a minute and then go over on with a second coat. I actually wanted a little bit more shimmer, so I've gone in with some Diamond by Creative Cake Decorating Australia. Let your turntable go constantly, just turning, and then using an airbrush to spray the dust onto your cake. And this gave a really decent glitter all over the, I want to say unicorn, all over the reindeer. So can't really see it that well on camera, but it looked really pretty and shimmery. Pop on your antlers, and you're done. And that is how you make a 2-tier reindeer cake with the unicorn theme in mind. This is actually a request over on Instagram, so I uploaded a photo not long ago of a 2-tier unicorn cake, and I had a lot of comments left on that photo. Can you please show us how to make a tutorial? Show us how to make this, Rosie. And so this is my version of making that, but for Christmas instead. And for those of you who didn't really want to see a unicorn cake, I did add in that element of having gifts around the base of the cake, which I think would look epic on a regular white cake or a Christmas themed cake. I think it's a great element that you guys can add there, so I hope that was some inspiration at least. Thank you again for watching today. I hope this has been useful for you, and if it has and you recreate this or something like this, please tag me on Instagram, #Rosie'sDessertSpot, so I can see it as well. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do so. We upload a new video every Tuesday. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys again next week. Bye for now.